Good morning, good morning, good morning, and welcome to Shop Talk with Mel. I got my co-host with me. We have the lovely Nick the Voice, and
good morning to you all.
And we also have the lovely, should I say lovely? The masculine and gracious Roogle, the movie guy, been rocking with me since almost day one.
He over there popping his collar.
That's what he got.
I'll be whatever. I'll be lovely, handsome, all of them.
Okay.
You know, whatever. It don't even matter to me.
I heard that. Can handsome and beautiful be in the same sentence?
I've been called those things in the same sentence before. Doesn't matter.
Have you?
Yeah. You are handsome and beautiful.
Oh,
you're the most beautiful, handsome man I ever met in my life.
Okay then.
I've heard that before.
Okay then. All right. Hey, let's hurry up.
As I look at my book.
What does that mean?
My black book.
Your black book.
You know what? But yeah, I've heard people describe a man as beautiful, especially when he is, Lord.
If he's beautiful?
If he's beautiful, yes.
Okay. All right, let's jump into these hot topics and let's get going. Today's show is sponsored by Youngstown United. Definitely have to put that out there. They have an event coming up called Stop the Violence, Youngstown, Ohio Ceasefire Event or Rally, whichever one you choose to call it. Youngstown United as one, they are bringing unity into the community. They started their program. I want to try to get them on. It'll probably be on an off day because of all the gun violence. So they wanted to do away with that. And they decided to have a rally on April 17th, Saturday, which is next Saturday, from 1 to 4 at the Boys and Girls Club of Youngstown, 2105 Oak Hill Avenue. All right. And they are hosting this event. They have guest speakers, Mayor Tito Jamel Brown, Chief of Police Carl Davis, the police chaplain, Pastor Lewis Macklin, and MC, and of course, myself, the radio personality, Shop Talk herself, Mel Ross in the building, okay? There will be special guests that are going to be there, and those are going to be loved ones who they have lost. The loved ones speaking who have lost loved ones. There we go. The people who have lost loved ones to gun violence. So they'll be speaking. So if you have lost someone to gun violence, please feel free to reach out to Youngstown United as one. They're on Facebook as well, or reach out to me. I'll send you to the right people to get on the program. All righty.
Stop the violence. Youngstown, Ohio ceasefire. Call it an event or rally. It's happening Saturday, April 17, 2021 from 1 p.m. until 4 p.m. at the Boys and Girls Club of Youngstown, Ohio, 2105 Oak Hill Avenue. Hosted by Youngstown United as One, bringing unity to the community. Guest speakers, Mayor Tito Jamel Brown, Chief of Police Carl Davis, Youngstown Police Chaplain Pastor Lewis Macklin, and MC radio personality Shop Talk with Mel. Special guests will be those who lost loved ones to gun violence. Refreshments will be served. Also, masks and social distancing will be in effect.
All right, there we go. Now, let's go ahead and let's talk about, not that DMX passed of gun violence. I'm like, that segue is like, oh, not really good. But let's talk about DMX. I mean, the world lost that raspy voice, a good one.
Right.
And before, when we were talking prior to the technical difficulties, Nick, you were saying that, us, the media was out there saying that it was drug overdose that caused him to have cardiac arrest. Go ahead.
Yeah, I guess TMZ had first reported, because, they first...
Allegedly, because you said another outlet. Look.
Allegedly. reported that it was drug overdose, but his family did speak out, I guess, yesterday and said it was not drug overdose. He also said he had just taken his, I guess, first shot. So we don't.
First shot, what, the vaccine?
The vaccine.
Oh,
right.
okay. Allegedly.
Allegedly. So we don't know if it was effects from that or what it was from. Nobody will know until the autopsy comes through. And of course, whatever it is, maybe they'll reveal it. Maybe they won't.
Okay. All right, go ahead, Roogle. You pick up where you left off. Who else passed away?
I was going to say, Prince Philip died. He was the husband to Queen Elizabeth II. And the royal family, most people may relate to them as being the grandparents to William and Harry and Meghan, and their great-grandchildren, of course. They were married, Prince Philip and Queen Elizabeth II. They were married for about, I think it was 73 years.
Yeah, that's a long time.
And he recently died at 99.
Okay. Now, some people did have the question of, how is he a prince and she's a queen? Shouldn't he be a king? But he came from royalty as well. And to my understanding, they have 4 children. 4 children.
Yeah.
But all we hear about is just Charles.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we hear about Andrew because he may be involved in some,
Charles and Andrew.
Okay,
Yeah,
go ahead,
we hear
Roogle.
about
I want you to finish it. Go ahead.
But the thing is that he was never to be king because he was not in the lineage to become to rule. So
Charles is the oldest or something? I mean,
Charles is the oldest. So
okay.
If Queen Elizabeth should die, then he would be king, whatever he would make his name to be, because he can change his name at that point in time.
Okay, so that's how it goes. Now, I read an article that said that Queen Elizabeth was prepared. Well, I know she was. He was 99.
Well, I think she was prepared because he had his longest stint in the hospital. He had went to the hospital sometime in mid-February and then returned in
he was getting a heart
March.
procedure done. He was getting a heart procedure done. I'm like, that's a long time, 99. That's such a blessing. And then a lady of order, she was having her stuff all together. Now, you did know that they were third cousins, right? Alleged. Look, silence.
Well, the only reason is because he was Danish in his Danish and German in his origin, and his great grandfather was named king by the Greek people early in the 20th century. So I'm not really sure.
Yeah.
They were cousins.
You guys got to look at that. They said third cousins. Hey, you guys got to check that out.
Close.
Go ahead, Nick. What'd you say? Nick.
That's too close.
You said that's too close. Hey, they did it. Now, go ahead, Nick. I know you have the question. Do you have the next question? As far regarding the funeral services of Philip?
You know I do. Is Megan and Harry gonna be there?
I knew it. That's all I was like. Go ahead, Nick. You got the next question.
They gonna be there? Are they invited? Or are they gonna get the guillotine when they come? What's going on?
The guillotine. No, I believe it would be in good form if they did show up.
Well, do you think that Megan is almost due, so it's not good to travel.
Well, yeah.
That late. But I'm sure that they would. I hope that they would.
Yeah.
Well, at least him. At least him or Harry.
Yeah. 99 years.
That's a long time. That really is a long time.
That is. And, just looking, I'm like, well, what kind of vitamins? We used to have a local vitamin shop here, and it wasn't called the Vitamin Shop. It was a health food store, I believe. That was the name of it, if I'm not mistaken. And I ain't lying. Them people look like, you know what I'm talking about, Roogle? They used to be downtown. And the old people, they looked like Prince Philip and them. Like they looked like about 100 and something. And they was still walking around telling us, but guess what? I went to them for direction. Like, what should I have? Because they was taking those vitamins. So do you think that that's what they're over there taking? Because all those people, they living to be really, really old, and they look old. As my child said a long time ago. I'll tell you that story, but go ahead.
I just think that it's more to deal with our lifestyle today that's killing us early.
You think?
Than the folks like him and other people. I mean,
because they walking around doing events.
Yeah, I had a great grandfather who lived to be 105.
That's a blessing.
I have a grandmother who's 90. Well, was 90. She recently died, but I have another one who's 94. So. And when I look at like the things they had in common, it was more or less like how they lived. It wasn't a whole lot of like the things that we encounter today. Just a lot of.
So, do your grandmother take vitamins?
Not that I'm aware of. No.
Because I was wondering, because the store downtown, they used to be downtown Youngstown. Those people, I mean, they were tall, they stood erect. Like, in the face, they looked really, really old, but they were, like, moving and grooving. And I'm like,
and a lot of older ones like to go, like, in the wintertime, they will walk around the mall, especially over in Hermitage, they walk around the mall every morning. They make sure they get their walk in and everything.
So the exercise.
Yes, they do their exercise, so that has a lot to do with it as well.
Okay, Roogle, I want to ask you this. 105. So you said the lifestyle and what they had in common. What was it?
None of this. None of it wasn't a sedentary lifestyle. Like my grandmother who's 94, she walks stairs every day. She has to because of the design of her home.
Okay.
It wasn't like she was like, let me go and get a ranch style house or nothing like that.
Or the children saying you and your bedroom need to be on the first floor.
Yeah, none of that kind of stuff. She's
good.
She's hardcore, I guess.
Good point. Yeah, making it happen. See, I believe exercise works. I believe doing your laundry, cooking home-cooked meals, getting those heavy cast iron pots out from under the cupboard or wherever. Mm-hmm. Those are all ways to exercise, lifting weights, like you doing something. We need to see what they doing over there. That's our problem. That's my problem. Minding their business, huh? Minding everybody else's business.
We are the media. That's
right.
Our job.
That's what we do. All right, let's talk about the incident that happened in Roswell, Georgia. Okay. I'm sure that I know what Ruggle's going to say because he says it every single week. But I'll allow him to say it. Where the children at a daycare the white children were being fed first. And this particular daycare, Nick might have the same one. I didn't hear about that. The daycare, I guess you could look through the video to see what's happening during the day. And on that video, you can see that all the black children are sitting there with their hands, just waiting patiently. And all the white children have their food in front of them. And even at other tables. So they said, well, we need to see not just that clip. We need to see I guess it was, I don't want to misspeak. But I guess the people who actually have the daycare said, you have to look at the entire video. Well, you can see the entire video and you can look at all of them. Matter of fact, you don't even need to because you can look at it. And they tried to say that maybe it was a dietary issue. What was that? So are you teaching, the young saying, okay, well, let me teach them right now so they'll know and they'll be patient. White people eat first. You got to check it out. You can look I have that article on your Shop Talk with Mel Facebook page. So go ahead and check it out. What's your thoughts on that? Nick? I'll go with you first, honey bunny.
I want to cuss so bad. I really do.
But we all want you to.
But I know y'all. So I'm just gonna say, where do they do that at?
They do that in Roswell, Georgia.
Listen, we are not our ancestors. We're not doing that. Y'all trying to put us back there. No, I'm gonna fight to the death. You're not doing that. Then you doing the babies like that, dude.
Listen.
Close them down.
And here's the thing, I think they disconnected kids from kids or something like that is what the name of the daycare is. They have like a chain, to my understanding. I just think that it's really interesting that that's what's going on. He put it on social media, the father did, because he checked in on his children. So just because you think, okay, well, I'm going to send my child to this place and it's supposed to be better, and not saying that this is what the parents, thought, like, okay, well, I'm going to send my child to this upscale daycare and this is supposed to be this way and we can view and all that other stuff. It's still happening. We can view what they're doing. Okay, yeah, but it's still happening. And how many people, I'm glad he's caught that particular moment of them being fed. But how often does this occur? How often did this occur? Did this occur before? You know what I mean? Before the social media, and you just didn't know where you were putting your children and you paying top dollar thinking all is well.
This is not the first time. This is definitely not the first time. This is something they've been doing. They just finally got caught.
Now I'm with you on that one. And Roogle, I want you to weigh in on this. Because did you see how patient all of the children were just waiting on their food? Go ahead, Roogle. Did you see it yet?
No, I didn't see it.
Oh, I thought you were checking it.
The
I thought you were checking it out.
I didn't know. No, I didn't go look at anything. My thoughts are, being a person who was in early education for several years, one of the things that the program I was in, Head Start, did was they would have home-style meals. So what that meant was they would put the food out, and if it was safe for the children to serve themselves, they had that ability to be able to do it, right? So that's a temperature thing and all that kind of stuff. And, the issue there was to help yourself and support others, where it shouldn't have been a thing. I've never seen what you're talking about. I've never seen that. I
need you to check it out. Roswell, Georgia.
What I'm saying is, in the setting that I was in, I never seen that.
Mm-hmm.
So what there could be some underlying adult issues involved with that, as far as superiority and that sort of thing, of course. Because that seems like what it is, especially if it's been numerous amount of times that they've seen that particular thing happen. Because all of us have been in a situation in school where it's like the line leader has changed. It's not always the same person. Take the attendance to the office, if you will, that kind of stuff. And there's always been a different person. But it seems like from what you have explained, that there's a systematic way of letting people know that they should be second, which is not cool in any way, and not something I've seen as a routine practice in the programs that I've worked for. Is this a terrible thing?
It really is. And you are right. Usually I see like our smaller children, they have the family styles where you have the large dishes in the middle and then they serve themselves, which teaches them independence, which I think is amazing. In that particular video footage, and it's all over, guys. You can see they have them at different tables, and that's the part. So it's not like, okay, they didn't get theirs yet. You know how sometimes you make the plate and you sit in front of them, blah, blah, blah. It's not that they didn't get theirs yet. It's different tables, and you can look in there and you can see that only the black children, our brown skin people, are the only ones who at all of the tables that don't have their food yet. But
I can see if they were doing it table by table.
Right, and then you haven't gotten to it. No, you gotta wait your turn. So pretty much like you said, Nick, it's It's like, oh, okay, so you just teaching this like now, like this is the way it's going to be. And you're right. I don't think that was the first time because everybody was so patient. Our brown children were patient. They were just sitting there with their hands folded, just waiting their turn. And that's when you have to say, who are you hiring?
Ooh, child, make me want to just call them folks and just tell them about themselves.
Well, I think everybody else did already, and that's why it made national news. But how do you when you hire people, you think that you hire them to do a good job and to treat your child fairly. And being that it is 2021, it's like, are we still doing this? And some people didn't believe it. Yes, we are. Yes, we are. And when I say we as a collective group, just as Americans, people, me personally, I wouldn't do nothing like that. That's ridiculous. And babies, these are little young people. But it's like, okay, well, we got to hurry up and figure out what to do because we're losing our clout, so to speak. Not okay. Not okay. What you got going on in Hot Topic News? Anything good, Nick?
Who, me? Hot Topics?
Uh-huh.
Let's see. Actually, nothing good. I'm just trying to figure out what's going on. Listen, I'm finally getting weekends and stuff off, so I'm alert now, and now I have to get back into the swing of things so I can start.
Girl, don't never lose the swing of things.
Exactly.
You be tired. Like you be tired, but you gotta do it.
Working straight like that was killing me. I was like, I'm listening. We gonna have to read my schedule.
Now, guess what? I understand because I work midnights. And get up, you got the show must go on, and you got to keep on doing it and pulling it. But yes, it's a lot of hard work behind doing what it is that you want to do for you. We were talking in the previous, this was the same show, but earlier in the segment where you were speaking about being positive and knowing like, okay, this is what we do. We just got to start over like we're doing right now. So be like, I refuse to be defeated, honey. Let's make it happen.
Like you said, devil get behind thee. You will not win this one.
Nuh-uh, because we will do it over. Thank God. Look, thank God for that.
Yes.
Thank God for that. We were also, let me see, what else did we have going on in the news besides the sadness of what's going on in the news, people losing people. We also had the other, you want to do a commercial? Okay. We're going to go to commercial break and we'll be right back.
This show has been brought to you by
Stop the Violence. Stop the violence. Youngstown, Ohio ceasefire. Call it an event or rally. It's happening Saturday, April 17th, 2021, from 1 p.m. until 4 p.m. at the Boys and Girls Club of Youngstown, Ohio, 2105 Oak Hill Avenue. Hosted by Youngstown United as One, bringing unity to the community. Guest speakers, Mayor Tito Jamel Brown, Chief of Police Carl Davis, Youngstown Police Chaplain Pastor Lewis Macklin, and MC radio personality Shop Talk with Mel. Special guests will be those who lost loved ones to gun violence. Refreshments will be served. Also, mask and social distancing will be in effect.
Alrighty. 39 minutes ago from TMZ, got this information from TMZ to my lovely people. There's a young lady who was a fan. She said that she credits DMX. So we know that he did have a history of addiction. I mean, he made that public. So we're clear on that. She said that that he helped her forgive her dad from addiction. So her dad, I guess he passed from, an overdose, and she couldn't forgive him. And she said DMX helped her do that. So that's a good thing. It's all about purpose. It's all about purpose. I'm telling you. All about purpose.
Before we had the technical difficulties and Roogle was speaking on, I guess, a pastor who was going through his drug addiction. And a song by DMX is what saved his life.
What was it, Roogle? Go ahead. Share that again.
So anyway, at church, I was involved with it deeply. There was a young pastor who was talking about how he was addicted to all of it. You know, I can't remember what it was, but it was bad stuff. And basically what he talked about was one day he was in the basement getting high and all that kind of stuff, and next thing he knew that it's hot, it's dark, and hell is hot was on, and I believe it was the convo from what he said in his testimony in church, and he was saying how, like, at that point in time he found that he found the strength and courage to leave that drug piece in his life alone and move into a greater relationship with God. And he had a very strong testimony and that sort of thing. And it was powerful. It was powerful just because I never seen someone like that have a platform in a church to speak about that affliction, and then to be in a situation where he's sharing with these individuals who are unaware of that culture the impact of what he experienced. You know, it was just a very powerful moment, and one of those things where, like, you know, it gives you courage to share what you have overcome and that sort of thing. So I was very appreciative to that pastor for being able to share that testimony in a pretty large audience, 5,000 people.
You know what? That's what people need to be more transparent. People need to be more transparent instead of others feeling as though that if they walk into the church or wherever it may be, it doesn't have to just be the church. They may feel like, okay, I'm going to be judged. I'm going to be condemned. And I have to be a certain way in order to be accepted. And that's probably what got them on the drug. Let's be honest. You know, trying to be socially accepted.
Right.
So,
and when he was sharing that, I said, that right there lets you know that God is going to speak to you at any moment, anywhere you're at, through anyone. It don't have to be in the church. Anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
You know, people need to realize that it's not, you know, just going to be at church through a path. It could be through anybody. You could be, like I said, in a line at McDonald's, and somebody will come up and just, you know, boom, and change your life forever. So yeah, people need to realize that. Like, and you got to keep your mind open and keep your ear listening. You have to keep your mind open for stuff like that.
You definitely do.
It does happen.
You definitely do. You definitely do. Because if you close off, that might be somebody's testimony, might be your saving grace.
Yep, might be a blessing for you. Exactly.
And I like the fact that you shared that, Roogle, because him doing it, talk about courage. Talk about courage. And there's more people that are out there. Let me be clear. We're not saying that DMX passed from drug overdose. We're not saying that. So family, stand down. But this is an issue. We know that he was on drugs. He let it be known. It's a struggle. You know what I mean? I haven't been in that place. I have seen people, you know, who actually struggle. And you have those who are like, I don't understand. Just get off of it. Just stop. Like, and easier said than done. You know, just watching people. It's easier said than done. I'm like, I'm sure they don't want to rob everybody.
Like, why are they doing? You know, because it seems lately more and more, especially, you know, where I'm from, we are losing more and more of our young people, even some of the ones my age, from drug overdose. And it's like, you were just at so-and-so's funeral, and you know that's what they died from. Why are you continuing to do it? So I have that mindset, like, why? Because you just attended your friend's funeral a few months ago, and now we're attending yours for the same thing. What is going on? what do we need to do? I mean, aside, we need, especially in our community, because we got to see about our own. If ain't nobody else gonna see about us,
Right.
what do we need to do to bring that awareness to our people, along with this gun violence? All of it is to get. It's just because a lot of gun violence is due to drugs and things like that too. So it all ties in together. What is it that we need to do, or start doing, or try to start up something like a accountability thing or something to bring awareness and get this issue taken care of within the Black community? The gun violence, the drugs, just everything. We what can we do? People, what suggestions did any of the listening audience have? Maybe something that we need to start, like trying to bring this awareness to our community.
Well, you know what? We got Roogle on the phone. We could go on, Roogle. What would you suggest?
What I just came back. What was going on?
Go ahead, Nick.
I'm like trying to figure out because we have this gun violence going on, drug overdose going on, and it's prevalent in everybody, within all races and communities. But we have to be accountable for our own. What can we do to try to bring more awareness, something to bring us together?
Well, I would say the first thing is when we have forums, we should actually have people who are impacted by those particular things. For example, we're talking about a forum that's taking place in a few weeks, I suppose, and next weekend.
Mm-hmm.
What stories are going to be told about those people that were impacted? I know we have special guests. The mayor who was there, and he's been involved with being involved in the forefront with his support of what's going on with Guy Bernie's program and that sort of thing. But I think sometimes that the people who have been impacted, they take a back seat to the events that are happening.
Well, they won't be taking a back seat next weekend. Those are the guest speakers. The special guests.
Who are the guest speakers?
The guest speakers are Mayor Tito Jamel Brown, the Chief of Police Carl Davis, and Pastor Lewis Macklin. The special guests will be those who lost loved ones to gun violence.
So how does one register to have that platform to speak about that?
You could contact me.
I'd like to contact you.
Oh, okay.
My name is Ron Shad, and I've been impacted by
you have
violence in my life.
Yes, you have.
I was murdered when I was 10 years of age.
Okay, all you have to do. Wait a minute, 1 second, because I want you to go ahead. All you have to do. I'll put your name on there, and you will be speaking as well. Okay. But go ahead.
It's the thing where it's like you have people who've tried to do good things that have had these impacts, and yet. Sometimes, from my perspective, being in that situation, I see people talk about that. I'm like, well, what do you know about it?
Oh, listen, I understand.
You know about the statistics, you know about the things, but you don't know about the fear. You don't know about the growing in that. You don't know about the not knowing of what the potential of that person was that died.
Absolutely.
Or the impact they had on your life. And then I kind of hear about that. I'm like, well, it's a good gesture, but it's not really supported with the magnitude of those who have been involved with that sort of thing. So when I hear it, I'm like, oh, that's good. That's good that they're doing that. That's good that there is a recognition of the violence that has happened. But so often we see our pain reflected in someone wants to show the candlelight visual. Someone wants to talk about that, but no one talks about when you're just in your daily life and someone comes up to you and say, oh, I think I knew your father. Is he still alive or whatever like that? And the next thing you know, you're like going through this explanation of things, or that sort of thing. So it's good. It's good in its intent. And I hope that there are some very genuine stories to be able to express how this has impacted people's lives.
You know what? I am positive that there are going to be some genuine genuine stories. When we say special guests, a special guest not just show up and just listen, like you said, taking a back seat and say, okay, let me hear what these people have to say. And they have not, and I'm not saying the guest speakers is here, because they may have been personally affected by it. Just as me, I'll be the MC. Have I been personally affected by it? Absolutely. Absolutely. However, it wasn't a parent, but you have parents that have passed on due to gun violence, and you have children, and people tend to always look at, they lost their children, so let's hear how they feel. Usually you hear over and over that, my child was supposed to bury me. I'm not supposed to bury my child. But we do want to hear from the impact that it has on the child, because people that are passing, they have children, and you are absolutely right. So the way that you can get on the program to be a special guest, all you have to do is sign your name, boom, you come up and you share how it has impacted you. How it has impacted you. And I'm sure people will wake up. So I understand how you feel, Roogle, as far as you listen to these people and you're like, yeah, okay, that was your cousin's cousin. This was a direct hit. You know what I'm saying? I get it 100%. With different forums that they do have, you have people, you're like, okay, well, these are public figures. I hate to use that term, but let's be real. You know what I mean? Okay, this is what you're doing in the community, and you're supposed to speak, and they speak on this, and we need to do this, and we need to do that. But what was the impact? Impact. That's the word for the year. How will you impact others, and how are you impacted? And the way that you can figure out how you can impact others is how someone was impacted and what is happening. And maybe people will think like, oh, okay, we need to do this, because we've been dealing with this for a long time. 1991 was tragedy over and over and over again. And when you lose like a best friend to it, and you're like, and he passed away due to this mistaken identity. And when you have the conversation of, listen, don't drive that car. You need to get it painted first. Why are they selling it? These are my thoughts. Why are they selling it that low? Why that cheap? Okay, I got this car for this much. Hold on. Something must be going on. But your windows are tinted. And bam, they think you somebody else. And boom, you die. And it's in my mind, when I feel like I told you don't drive that car. God knows best. But in my mind is, why didn't you listen?
Set him up.
But here's the thing. They just got rid of it. And I wouldn't even say set him up, because he was just buying a car. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And you just got rid of it. And it's like you got tinted windows and now you're gone. Or, you have a lot of deaths that are mistaken identity. Roogle, you want to piggyback, but I will definitely have you on the program. So please, if you could come, please come.
I'm just saying that there are so many different levels to what's involved in this.
Mm-hmm.
So is this a thing to where we've as a community we've taken first, especially with the Youngstown City School District, when we basically presented to the state that there should be a week of nonviolence, and that was perpetuated through the Youngstown City School District and Sojourners to the Past,
mm-hmm.
and that's what we celebrate in early October. It happens often. It's just something that I personally don't lead with all the time, because it was an event that happened to me, something that may have a role in defining who I am, but doesn't totally identify who I am. So it's something I don't speak about often, but it's just like one of those things where I see that things like this should be handled with care, with understanding, with experience.
Mm-hmm. I will say that the people that are in this organization has been directly affected. And that's why. Now that I do know.
This segment has been brought to you
by Youngstown.
Stop the violence. Stop the violence. Youngstown, Ohio ceasefire. Call it an event or rally. It's happening Saturday, April 17th, 2021, from 1 p.m. until 4 p.m. at the Boys and Girls Club of Youngstown, Ohio, 2105 Oak Hill Avenue. Hosted by Youngstown United as One, bringing unity to the community. Guest speakers, Mayor Tito Jamel Brown, Chief of Police Carl Davis, Youngstown Police Chaplain Pastor Lewis Macklin, and MC radio personality Shop Talk with Mel. Special guests will be those who lost loved ones to gun violence. Refreshments will be served. Also, mask and social distancing will be in effect.
If you know, and I want to put this out there, Roogle, if you know someone else that has been affected, please get those names to me so I can put them on. And even if they come, if you come, you can just sign up. Okay, sign up as you come, and we'll get you on there. But I know that your story is truly impactful.
Well, I think everyone's story holds their own weight.
Oh, absolutely.
Weight, you know what I mean? So it's just you hear about it often, and you kind of yeah.
Now, is this just for those in this community, or can anyone that has been impacted come?
Anyone that has been impacted can come. You just have to wear your mask, because that's heavily enforced, because anybody trying to be out here getting no coronavirus, no COVID-19 or this new strand at all. So, but yes, anyone who has been directly impacted, please come, because we got to stop. We got to figure something out. We have to figure something out. So, President Biden, Roogle, you know about this? President Biden with the gun control?
I know President Biden wants to put it into what we call ghost guns. These are guns that are in kits that people can buy and assemble. They buy them over the internet. They can assemble them themselves. The issue is that there is no serial number tied to those guns. So there's no real regulation of who actually have those guns. So you can have those guns in people's hands that should not have guns, and potentially they can be used in acts that would be unlawful.
Now, I'm trying to figure out. You'll have people there to say, okay. Let me backtrack a little bit. You have those that feel like, I have a gun. So what does that mean? That means you're going to come and try to retrieve my gun. What is it? NRA?
NRA, the National Rifle Association, they have campaigned that the government was trying to do away with the Second Amendment.
Right. And to bear arms, right. Where that's not the case. And then you have those black, well, what about cars kill people more than guns? Now, that assimilation bothered me. Because how can you associate the two as one? I mean, I don't see where the correlation is at. I mean, being responsible, yes, that would be one. But go ahead. I see your wheels turning.
Whenever you have numbers, you can always sway those numbers to be in the right, or in the right of your defense, or negative in that defense. The issue is that if I happen to be driving along in a car and I get into a car accident and should die from that, is different from if there is a situation where a mass shooter has a gun that they should not have had. So the correlation could be indeed that there are more automobile deaths, versus gun deaths. But the issue would be, if you looked at it from a macro level, how many more people have cars than have guns? Then how many more accidents are there than gunshots? Then you have to look at the issue of, like, what is the intent behind a car accident versus a gun being shot. It's a lot different when you start breaking it down and getting to those pieces there. The issue that people have is essentially that there are a lot of unjustified, unlawful deaths caused by firearms. In my opinion, I would say than automobile accidents. Granted, I could be at a fence if I were to get into an automobile accident and kill someone, versus like I had the intent to pull out a gun and shoot somebody.
True. Now, do you think that with the guns, like you said, the serial numbers track it back to who it belongs to, right or wrong?
Right.
Should there be, like your registration, like with a vehicle? Okay, you have to have a registration, you have to have insurance. Do you think
Well, typically
Go ahead.
that's the case. You register to have a firearm. The issue in this case is that these guns are sold. They're kits, so people put them together, and they don't have serial numbers, so there's no linkage to who owns it.
Okay, because a lot of people were saying Biden's coming in and he's trying to enforce this, and he's going to take our guns. So that's why. Look, that's why right now.
Take your guns that aren't regulated properly.
And I don't see anything wrong with it. All right, let's talk about Geraldo Rivera. You remember Geraldo?
Yeah.
The guy. Well, anyway, he was on Fox News. He was a guest on there, and they were just talking about different things. And Geraldo Rivera has pissed off his fellow Fox News pundit, Leo Terrell, by challenging his credibility in the black community. So in this particular segment, well, our segment, but in the segment on Fox News, what they were doing, they were going back and forth, and he was saying what the black community needs and the ghetto, and Geraldo was like, well, I know more than you know, because I guess he was in the suburbs, raised in the suburbs. So how can you say what's needed when you're not all the way there? You know, you don't have that experience. What's your thoughts on that? Because he asked him, he said, he was like, ghetto. He wanted it. What's your street credit, Leo? And Leo got ticked off by that response. It was America's Newsroom. That's what it was. And they were talking about race and policing in St. Louis, actually. And let's see here. Because, Tashara Jones, she's now the mayor-elect. A black woman. And he questioned the lived experience of white allies. So Geraldo was pretty much saying that, you know, people can be white and help and blah, 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 and do what they do. But Leo was saying that they don't know the experience because, and Tashara as well, because, you know, you don't know how it is to be black. So what's your thoughts on that?
I'm going to let Roogle take that one first.
My thoughts on it is that, like, if we all have a shared purpose, let's work together to solve that purpose versus who has more claim to it.
Okay. That was quick and simple. Anything, Nick?
I'm a Roogle on that one. I mean, we need to just work together, period.
Okay, because Leo was pretty much telling Geraldo that he don't know and blah, blah, blah. And then Geraldo asked him the question. He was like, when was the last time you was in the ghetto? And everything started, they went ham. Things started to erupt. They had a problem with that. And they went in.
And he had a big question. Like, when was the last time you were there then? Since you tell me, I don't know. When was the last time you were there? So hey.
All right, Cheryl Underwood, she breaks her silence on Sharon Osbourne's The Talk exit. I didn't see why she had to even, say anything in so long, like after the time. But she finally broke her silence and she spoke about it. And we pretty much spoke about it and told her how she was going to feel, how she felt. I did anyway. But what's your thoughts on her speaking out now, since Sharon is gone?
She probably had no other choice but to stay silent until now. They probably told her that she couldn't say anything at that time. I mean, job security. Like you said, job security.
Go ahead, Roogle, what do you think?
I was watching was it Carl Tuckerson interview with Pierce Morgan about that event where Pierce had left his show.
Okay.
And they kind of, when I listened to it, I was like, well, they actually used Cheryl as the scapegoat, and they were like, well, Cheryl, she was involved with what's her name, Osborne getting fired, and I was like, well, they made it seem like it was just because of his thoughts on Meghan Markle. I was like, what caused Cheryl, what's her name? Osborne, what's her birthday?
Sharon
Osborne.
Would cause Sharon Osborne to get fired, in my opinion, had nothing to do with her standing up for her friend. It had everything to do with her telling this black woman that she could not feel a certain way. She could not express herself a certain way. And they were trying to turn it into a issue of freedom of speech.
Uh-huh.
And it wasn't that. Like, yeah, like you have the freedom of speech, but you are not free of consequence.
I thought it had something to do with the comments she said about Sarah Gilbert.
Oh, she still had her job after that.
Yeah, and there was other things that came out about her saying that Holly Robinson Peete was too ghetto for the show. That surfaced after some after this recent Pierce Morgan incident. But I think that it was more or less focused on it's one thing, how you going to tell this lady how she should feel.
I'm with you on that. That was, to me, that was it. That was it.
Because Pierce Morgan, his thing was, he's like, hey, basically it's like this. I wasn't. He defends that he was not racist. He just says like, I'm just calling out Meghan Markle. He was like, she was treated. He's like from our perspective, he's like Americans are getting it wrong. He was like when she came into the family, he was like everyone was supporting her. And it's funny though, because at that time I was in contact with a friend I had who was born overseas in the UK. And I remember saying to him, I was like, man, it seems like people are being awful nice, because it seems like I said to him, I was like, they're being more nice to her than they were to Kate Middleton when she got married or whatever. And he was like, yeah, nice. And we had like a little inside joke about it. But the thing was, his point of view was, here she is, they're both denouncing the royal family, but yet they stand to make millions upon hundreds of millions of dollars based on their affiliation with the family. So it's like either you're for the family or you're not, but either way, they're trying to capitalize off of that. That was Pierce Morgan's view from what I've seen on Carl Tuckerson.
Okay.
And it was backed up with some legitimate stuff. They have $100 million deals with like Netflix, and I think they did some things with Disney and a few other with their production studio. So they'll make hundreds of millions of dollars when this is all said and done. And I'm not trying to say that it's being propagated just from the issue of race, but what I'm saying is that there is money that is being made that they technically, and I reported on this last time we spoke about it, that they would not have made had they been under the guidance of the throne, if you will, because it was said that those money making ventures are very heavily scrutinized by the royals.
Okay. Her speaking out, just to let you guys know, if you didn't read up on it, I got you covered. Her speaking out was just pretty much like, you did things to let you go. So she didn't really speak out on Sharon telling her, don't you cry, I should be the one crying. That right there, that blew mine. So I'm with you, Roogle, on that. That's what got her fired. It's like, here you go, white privilege. Now you telling me I can't even feel the way I want to feel? And then the sad part, like I said before, and I'll say it again, you saw Cheryl's wheels clicking like, how do I respond? So there's your invisible shackles. Like, you can't even say anything. And one thing that I was sad about was the fact that I thought that let's have the talk. I didn't know that they were prepped before. Like here, clearly y'all know, the listening audience, that we are not prepped before. Because Roogle will say, oh, I didn't hear about that. Or Nick will be like, oh, what? I didn't see that. So you know it's all live. Nobody is prepped to say, okay, this is what we're going to talk about. This is what we're going to talk about. It's all authentic. So I felt kind of like betrayed with the talk. You know what I mean? And for her to be upset, and all she said, not that she apologizes for how she made Cheryl feel. All she said, she was still ticked off that nobody told her what the questions were going to be before she went out there. So she felt blindsided. Come on, girl. What's really going on?
Well, knowing the questions and tapering your response is two different things.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Right. I just thought it was like nuts. So her speaking out just was saying that, just what you were saying, Roogle, where they're trying to say that Cheryl got her fired and all this other stuff. No, she got herself terminated. But here you have a contract. And I can't remember what the contract, pay or play contract. If you guys aren't familiar with the pay or play, it's pretty much like, okay, this is my contract and I have to do A, B, C, and D. If I get terminated or something happens early, you still have to pay me my money. If that makes sense. You understand what I'm saying? Hopefully I explained it in lay terms. So she still got her money. She ain't missing a beat. She still have her money.
So why is she upset, man?
I don't know. She with her friend. You stand by him. Now you got the time to actually literally stand by him.
Well, the issue she had was, it wasn't, I don't think it was an issue about defending him. I think it was how she did it. You know, I mean, you can't condemn someone else's feelings to support someone else's rhetoric. You know, if you will.
Well, yeah, because go ahead.
I think she could have been like, hey, I know him not to be a racist, and left it at that.
Right.
And who can say anything wrong about that? Like, hey, my personal experience is this man has never done anything that has been off color, right? You know, but it went into like, how dare you cry? How dare you feel this way?
That's what did it.
That was it. I think that I will stick by that as being the key element of it all. You know, not to say, you know, you can defend your fact without condemning another person's existence to feel a certain way.
Now, you know, yes. Now, you know, I think that when she made her tweet about standing by him, she couldn't handle the backlash. But I'm with you. Her making that statement showed me some racist tendencies. Or shall I say white privilege. Like, don't you tell me, don't you start crying. I should be the one crying. Why? Because everybody didn't respond to what you decided to put up there? That was nuts to me. That was just total nuts to me. Nick,
sometimes Sharon Osbourne talks too much anyway.
And that's what they know her for. Did y'all see the verses? Earth, Wind, and Fire versus the Isley Brothers.
Yes, I missed it.
Well, I got it for you, lovely people. And you can catch that on the Shop Talk with Mel page as well. Listen, Ron Isley, he ain't never been cute to me. Mr. Biggs ain't never been cute to me. Listen. Roogle, did you see Ron Isley?
I thought he was dead, actually.
Oh, my.
I thought one of them died.
One of them probably did, but it wasn't Mr. Biggs.
Mr. Biggs is alive and well. That white beard got him looking zaddy-ish.
Listen, he looks amazing because he's usually clean cut, always wore suits, clean cut. But you know, you just look, you be like, oh, okay, that's Ron Isley, whatever. But when I seen that, and my child talk about some, she was like, oh, look at that glucose guardian. Talking about a sugar daddy. I said, Liam,
I see it. His beard matches his coat.
Yes, he looks fabulous.
And his wife, 44, she's really pretty.
I know
You
she
like
is.
young, no
That's
young.
listen. That's Mr. Big. Hey, he got it. Him. Who else? Eddie Murphy got him a young one. But I guess that it really isn't young, like 44. They match up now. After you hit a certain age.
44, listen, 44 and 79, yeah.
That's probably a big difference. But hey, he looks great. He looks great. I got to give it to him. Beards can make some people and they can break some people. But I will say, but he got the glasses on too. You ever see somebody that's so fly and they be having their sunglasses on, then they take their glasses off? You be like, oh, they don't look the same.
Right.
Not that they cross-eyed, but it's just something about those eyes. Roogle, what's happening in the movie world?
Well, I don't even know if we talked about this last time. I think we should have. But Kong versus Godzilla.
We did, because I didn't know who.
We touched on it a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, so that was out there. It seemed to be a major impact on on theater goers because it's been doing very well. And what Warner Brothers or through HBO Max has realized is that they can live in two worlds at one time. And that means having things at the big screen along with having things through the streaming network. And they've been able to find financial success through that. Now, I don't know if all the numbers haven't come in as far as like what happens through a streaming network because there's no Nielsen review of those things. As you know, the Nielsen rating system would take place when it comes to regular television viewing, but that's not the case when it comes to online subscriptions for streaming networks. So there is a little bit of like defining like how that works. But I will say I did watch it. I watched it a few times through my HBO Max subscription, and I not truly really a monster movie guy at that level, with that, but I took it for what it was, and it essentially is a popcorn movie. It's the thing that says, let me go to the theater and see something bizarre, strange, something that I really wouldn't see, take me out of reality. And that's what this movie does for us. If it's at the theater or at home where I watched it, it gives you that it gives you the ability to dive into the unknown, the misbelief, and have a good time just viewing what it is. So with that said, I'll segue into what I was currently watching. This is oh man, I'm about to ruin it. But anyway, Melissa McCarthy and Olivia Spencer, they have a action superhero show on HBO. I think it's Thunder Squad. I think is the name of it. But I've been watching it, and it's a comedy. It's an okay comedy. It's an okay comedy with superheroes. It's an okay comedy with these particular women taking the lead on it. And there's a little bit of, it's okay. Hey, I'm watching it, what have you. But, is it like, would it have been such a strong draw at the theater? Maybe, because I will say like this. I have gone to see Melissa McCarthy shows, and I've definitely gone and seen Olivia Spencer movies. I think recently the last movie of hers that I reported on was Ma, where she played the pretty much I want to call her a serial killer, but she was a murderer of such in that show, where she was a person who was not treated well in her community and took out her frustrations on the youth of the children of the youth of the adults who had scorned her when she was a child. So that was a pretty decent watch there. My main watch has been the things that I've really been watching a whole lot is Invincible, which is the Robert Kirkland comic book adaptation. It's a television adaptation of his comic book, which is about a superhero that is trying to find his way through adolescence and to understand why what he will do with his gifts in the future. So it's a good watch there. The main view has been Falcon and the Winter Soldier, starring Anthony Mackie and Sebastian Stan. Anthony Mackie is doing a great job in this Disney Plus streaming network show, and it's just been a real joy. It embodies everything about Captain America Winter Soldier, and with the espionage and intrigue that it has, and just the pure action of it. Not to mention the social commentary is very good, and it pretty much takes a front stage when you think about how we interact with how we interact with people from other countries that come into our country, and how we view people who have been treated less than in our country as well, that should have a bona fide right for equality.
Okay. Do you think that the movie theaters, once they reopen, do you think they'll be making the movies will be making those box office numbers as they were pre-COVID?
I don't know, because I'll tell you like this. The way HBO Max is doing it, I love being able to wake up Friday morning, whatever morning it is, and watch that movie right from home on my television.
I like to go to the theater, so you would prefer to stay home and watch than go to the theater.
I mean, I like them both, but because I went and see movies at 8:00 in the morning.
You have.
But it is like to wake up and be like, okay, I got my breakfast cooking, and I can just pause it and do what I got to do and come back and watch or whatever like that. Then being able to go back and watch the scenes that I really enjoy. You know who benefits from this? Everybody who makes a really big TV with great sound will benefit from what's going on, because if I can say, hey, let me spend $1,000+ on a television with great sound and know that I can pay like $15 a week or what, I mean a month, and get like quality movies with great good movies I want to see, and simply have to wake up and press my remote to get it, it's a hard sell. It's a hard sell.
Yeah, especially when nowadays going to the movies is $15 just for the doggone near $15 for just one movie.
So they're trying to
pay $15 a month to see several.
So they're trying to recoup the money that was lost during COVID, you think?
I think the thing is it's hard. They haven't necessarily tried to recoup that money, because what they've done is delayed the release of a lot of movies they think will bring them that money. But granted, you lose that. You technically lose that money because you didn't release anything to a mass audience over that particular time period. You know, so the real test will be about what happens with the standalone movie of Black Widow from Disney that has been highly anticipated for like the last year and a half or so, that will be released on Disney Plus and in theaters July 9th. So, I mean, that'll be the real test, because that was a movie that was highly anticipated for people that truly wanted to see what was going to happen. And that franchise is so big and so big, and there's such a demand for it. We'll see, like, if there's a large, because how Disney Plus is going to have it won't be free on Disney Plus. You'll have to pay an extra $30, I believe, to view it. And so me and my son were having that debate. Like, is it worth buying it on Disney Plus or going to the theater to go see it? And I'm leaning towards getting it on Disney Plus.
See, I would have to go to the theater. It's something about the atmosphere.
Mm-hmm. And a lot of things.
And the popcorn and the gummies.
I don't like the Friday night. Like, I gotta, the teenagers have to go and find a way to enjoy themselves, and so you're competing with kids who have seen the movie 3 weeks ago who are just going back out just to have something to do. I don't want to deal with like, let me go and get up and get the popcorn and all that kind of stuff. And it really depends on what theater you're going to see stuff in and that sort of thing. But I have never been a real fan of opening night. And actually, it's kind of funny because where I got my love for movies was when my older cousin took me to go see Batman 1998. They came out with Michael Keaton in the role of Batman and Jack Nicholson. And I remember going to see that. I believe it was a 9:40 show was the time.
And that was your love for movies?
Yeah, because I'd never seen people. Everyone was lined up around the corner to go see it at Cinema South, and the lines used to be. And then I literally, when we were going in line, I seen people running and jumping over like the first couple rows of seats just to get the seat that they wanted. It was like, this was the thing. I mean, granted, don't get me wrong, I wouldn't go see, Return of the Jedi in theaters and stuff like that. But that was the first time I really got a picture of what that Friday phenomenon was.
And you don't like it now?
Absolutely not.
That's crazy. What about you, Nick? I know you like movies.
Yes,
you
I
like going to the theater?
The thing is, the person that I go with always fall asleep. I'm like, dude, come on now. I don't care. There was one movie we went to go. No, I'll take that back. 2 movies we went to go see that actually kept my husband's interest the whole entire time.
Okay.
Other than that, 5 minutes into the movie, he over there snoring, and I'm doing like this every 5 minutes, nudging him like,
Listen, the lights are out. He probably tired. Let me tell you guys what just came right off the press. But let's go to our sponsor.
This segment has been brought to you by Youngstown United.
Stop the violence. Stop the violence. Youngstown, Ohio ceasefire. Call it an event or rally. It's happening Saturday, April 17th, 2021, from 1 p.m. until 4 p.m. at the Boys and Girls Club of Youngstown, Ohio, 2105 Oak Hill Avenue. Hosted by Youngstown United as One, bringing unity to the community.
All right. Straight off the press, Army Lieutenant Karan Nazaro, he got pulled over, and he had a Chevy Tahoe with no plates on the back, but it was a new truck, so he had it in the window. Police pulled him over, physically attacked him, pepper sprayed him. He had his hands up the entire time. I'm going to give this straight TMZ. The video is on TMZ, so you guys check it out. I'll share it on the Shop Talk with Mel page. It is hard to watch. The body cam is on. So he was afraid to the body cam was on, but after the police came up on the truck, they had the guns pulled. He was afraid. He said, honestly, I'm afraid to get out. The cop barked back and said, you should be. This is all on the body cam. Nazaro has hands up in the air the entire time, but the cop is increasingly frustrated and then amps things up. Pepper sprayed him 4 times, and his dog was in the back choking from the pepper spray, okay? Now, you know them animal rights people, they ain't okay with the animals now. So, he said that the police actually said that if Nazaro pulled out the SUV and is sobbing, is ordered to the ground. This is the part that got me. One of the cops complained and said, if he complains, listen, this is the part. If you complain, we'll throw the book at you with all sorts of charges. Obstruction of justice, eluding police, assault on a cop, etc. And this man had his hands out the car at all times. So now this happened. They just released the body cam. This happened in December. He filed a lawsuit. So he did complain.
Yeah.
He filed a lawsuit, and he's like, that's violation of his constitutional rights. But why? If you pull me over and I have a new car, my tags are in the window. My registration, what is it, 30-day tags or something? In the window. Do you really need to pepper spray me? But
I was reading some of the comments of others.
Already sprayed. But wait, already sprayed in the car, hands out. You spraying and telling me to get out the car. I can't see. Like, come on. Come on, man. This is team too much. But it was just released, and I had to give it to you. You know, I got to give it to you as soon as it comes across my desk.
Right, and I was reading some of the comments. Well, you should have. I hope you should have complied. Why are you driving without a plate? Come on now, y'all know when you get a new car, some states you don't have the plate at first. It's that miss me with all that. And I'm not. Please don't bring out the race card. But it is. You brought out the race card because of your comment. Mm-hmm. You began with, "Please don't bring out the race card," but
it's still there, and I hate to bring it up, and it's still there.
Mm-hmm.
Still there.
Yes, alive and well. It'll never go away as long as we have Jack. So I had to catch myself. People like that with that attitude.
Right.
I caught myself real quick, didn't I? Yes, as long as we have people like that with that attitude, it's always going to be a race thing and a race issue.
They're thinking about, New York is thinking about or considering doing a statue like they did with Ella Fitzgerald for DMX. So regardless of where the, memorial is, they're thinking about doing a statue for him. Street name, the Ohio Players. The Ohio Players this was Easter weekend. They were honored in Dayton, Ohio with the name of their group on a street, the Ohio Players.
Oh, okay.
Do you think it was well deserved?
Yes.
Roller Coaster. Yes. Roller Coaster was the one that I remember with the Ohio Players. But yeah, so they finally got a street named after their group. Now here's my thing, because they got so many different groups of the Ohio Players. Which one do you think, is that for every group? You know what I mean? Every group member? Because, they split up and then you got Billy Beck and the Ohio Players, Willie and the Ohio Players. Can't think of Willie's last name. The originals. How does that work? Are you guys confused or just as confused as me, or you guys got it together? Huh? Nick, you got your mute on.
Oh, yeah. I had to put it on real quick for a minute. Yeah, confused.
Confusion. Yeah, right.
Exactly.
So, what you think, Roogle?
I think it was intentional for the main people, not the spinoffs, but the main folks.
You said the spinoff. Now, would you go to a spinoff Ohio Player concert, or would you want the originals?
I think the question would be, to me, I think about, we have so many groups like the Temptations. Are there any original Temptations?
I don't think there's any left.
Original. You know what I mean? The people that were there with Berry Gordy, in the beginning. So I think the thing is, the group can live on, but there's the nostalgia for sometimes you are fans of the people that were involved at that time. And I'll relate this to comic books. So many times you'll have someone that takes over the mantle of a character, and you're like, yeah, they cool, but but it ain't that person. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I mean, except I think Miles Morales would be the only exception to the rule. Spider-Man into the Spider-Verse, but for the most part, whenever someone takes someone else's mantle, you're like, yeah, it's okay, it's cool, but is it really them? I mean, I going to see, when Roger Troutman died, and then Zap would tour without him. It's cool, but is it the same thing? Kinda. No, it's the same really music.
But remember, it was Roger and Zap all the time. You know what I mean? So how do you do that? But Zap is part of the original, though.
Yeah,
and
I'm not saying that group doesn't have its own integrity.
The Zap band,
But the thing is that the people go intentionally to see Zap, or do they go to see Roger Troutman?
We went to see Roger.
I went to see when they were here, McMenemy's, when McMenemy's was still around.
Yeah, but Roger was here.
Christopher Williams. I went to go see Christopher Williams. I'm not even gonna lie.
But wait,
Not without Roger was just, they was okay.
You said McMenemy's. Okay, I'm thinking out there. I'm like, he was alive at that time. I seen him in concert right before he died. Okay,
yeah, so you right after he died, when they were out here.
So
when Christopher Williams came in town.
Okay, so how do you feel about T-Pain using the what is that thing called? What is it called?
Auto-tune.
But the mic. Yeah, that mic machine.
Well, the issue you have to go back is you have to say, what about Peter Frampton?
There you go. Okay.
You know what I mean? So I mean, it hasn't. T-Pain has not been the first to use this thing. There's a long line of people who've
Who's
used it or
used it?
whatever.
Yeah. But we know. I know it with Roger. So I guess you know it with your generation.
Yeah,
Right.
I think the only thing with T-Pain was that I think auto tune became a limitation on his talents.
Okay.
Versus like
Yes.
because there's certain people who, hey, they make this song, you would say like without it they wouldn't be talented or not, but with him, he's done everything he possibly can do to show that he's talented above.
And he can sing.
That's auto tune.
Yes, he can. He can sing. So that auto tune really did limit, because if he would just use his regular voice,
or just not make a staple of it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like pancakes is great for breakfast, but them cars will catch up with you.
Look, I don't even got my ground effect. Look, I don't even got my sound effects over here on this computer.
Saying. And then sometimes if you switch it to waffle, you be like, that's still carbs. You might have to do something else, like a piece of like dry toast or something.
I needed my drum. You know how that thing be like, boom, 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 and my cymbal. I ain't even get that.
I'm just saying.
you stop and I was eating waffles at 3 o'clock in the morning and grits and toast and eggs and ham.
Yeah.
But I get your analogy. I definitely get your analogy. So you're right. He limited limited himself. All right, last hot topic, and then we're gonna get up out of here. Kim Kardashian. Look, the eye roll. Did we get the eye roll for Roogle?
No.
Listen, she said that Forbes got it wrong. She is, she's a billionaire, but she's far more than just a billionaire. So,
is she a philanthropist?
Listen, she is. You got to give her that.
Because technically, some people believe there should never be a such thing as a billionaire. So if she's trying to floss that she's a billionaire,
more than a billionaire,
then she needs to give millions more to her philanthropy.
Listen,
that's all.
This is what if they got you in there and they put you in there as a billionaire, why did you even have to make a statement to say, I'm more than a billionaire, I'm billionaires. Billions. Like I'm worth.
That's just Kim Kardashian being Kim Kardashian and anyway, girl, bye.
I don't understand why she felt the need to even say anything.
Because
what you think?
She's extra.
I wish she would have been confronted with those words many years ago.
She's extra. That's
why.
Maybe the world would be a better place.
She's just extra.
Well, she became a billionaire off of her underwear line, Skims. I guess they're like a Doubtfire, I call it, an instant figure.
That's what they all say till you get them and put them on and you still look like a busted can of biscuits.
They said listen.
You talking about the can of biscuits? She's like,
listen.
Tear the paper, poof.
Right. Listen, though.
And you got a little bit of dough that's sticking out from the seam.
A mess. 40-year-old reality star who was worth, they put $1 billion. She said she worth more than $1 billion. But I didn't think that she even needed to make a statement about it. You're already in there. Okay. Be done. But some of those instant figures, you got a point, Nick. I put on an instant figure one time and I couldn't fit my dress that I could fit before I had the instant figure. Them Doubtfires, I can't remember what they were called. Remember everybody was going to the house selling them? There's like $120.
And all of that, yeah. Some of that stuff, yeah, I've tried, just
it pulls.
When you're wearing something nice and you want to look good. And
I guess it's supposed to.
Still can't fit your clothes.
Right. I think it's supposed to put things in place, but gravity, is my friend. So, I could button my clothes, and then when I put that thing on, it pulled all my fat up. Then I wasn't able to button my clothes. So, what's the problem?
Right.
When do I tuck my stomach in? When? Help me. You see, I'm channeling I'm channeling my Sade.
Yeah, okay.
That's and ready for Cinco de Mayo. Give me a sombrero and I'll be ready.
One of these days, I'm gonna go somewhere and celebrate Cinco de Mayo. I'll just be like, whatever.
Cinco de Mayo, I'm down for it. Roogle, you down for it? I still got that margarita from last year. Cinco de Mayo.
You still got margarita from last year.
Yeah, it's in the refrigerator. I didn't, because I asked for a virgin, but they gave me the one. It's a big giant one with liquor in it, and I was like, this smells like it got liquor in it. So it's probably real potent now.
Listen, you about as bad as me with these potent Jello shots that I've had in my refrigerator for over a year. I went to go clean my refrigerator out, and because I have a habit of keeping liquor in there forever, I was cleaning my refrigerator out, getting rid of a lot of stuff that I know I'm not going to drink. And I pulled out these potent Jello shots, and I went to go smell one, and I was like, nah, you better not do that, because you might just pass out right here.
Does Jello go out of style? Does it, talking about go out of style, does it expire? Does Jello expire?
Once you make it,
Well,
you know what? I don't know about the box one. The box Jello, they put an expiration date on and stuff, but I don't think stuff like that expires. But yeah, once you make it, it just stays in the refrigerator.
You think? I don't know, because it be having extra gel once it's so old in the refrigerator. Roogle, what you think?
Well, yeah, because it get real sticky.
Yeah, that's from the evaporation of the liquid, from the water evaporation.
Oh, that's what that is? So Jello is good?
But I don't know. I don't know if I'll tell you to eat some stale ass Jello. But all I'm saying is that usually when you get that really kind of it's kind of firm and wiggly. You know that part. It's usually because it's dry. My thoughts are that it's evaporating.
Okay. So that's what's happening. All right.
Yeah.
Listen.
Jello,
go ahead.
Quick. What you waiting on for?
Listen. Speaking of Jello, there was a weed truck. I'm thinking of the gummies. It was a weed truck at a child's park, Rock Ridge to be exact, on the west side. Playground.
I saw you put that on your
Now
page.
listen to this. And it was a van. So yes, they could have been taking their children to the park. But do you think that, and it had it on there, worldwide weed gummies or something, all on the van. Do you think they thought about that when they pulled up to that place, or do they just care about the advertisement? Or you know what I mean?
I think it's more or less the advertisement.
Go ahead, Roogle. What's your thoughts to that? And it said weed gummies candy.
There have been anti-drug and tobacco and that sort of thing, and when they believe that the tobacco industry purposely, has their product set up by counters with candy and all that other stuff. There is a deep-seated belief that there is a pipeline to try to encourage young children to engage in those particular products.
Okay, I thought it was out of place. Go ahead.
I was going to say, even when you talk about, you see people, and I hate seeing these rappers everywhere, I wish people would just throw their damn trash in the can. We just wait till you get home, throw your trash away. But I hate driving around and seeing all these wrap papers and stuff. You see apple wrap, grape wrap, all the other stuff. If you just throw your trash away at home, please, anywhere. Throw it away in a receptacle.
He said throw it away.
I hate litter.
Well, we know he hate litter.
Hate it. I mean, I've been seeing people it almost. If I wasn't cool, it almost would send me in a road rage. As much as I see people litter, it's like
you see people actually litter.
Yes,
I have not.
This week I saw 3 people do it, and I've seriously thought about getting a cam just in my car to show people littering and turn it into the authorities.
Okay, Karen, go ahead. Go ahead, Carl. Carl or Kurt. Who you want to be, Carl, Kurt?
I want to I hate it. I hate it.
So what? Why wouldn't you though?
The pool was closed last year because every year they open up the pool since The apartment building is the first one they walk by.
Okay, so in the area of the public pool. But those are children. I want to go back to Roogle with these adults that are driving and throwing out, not that it's okay for the children, but they're children. You'd be like, okay. But throwing out their garbage. So why wouldn't you take a picture and just send it?
I've seen people, and I've actually picked it up, and you never know when people watch and you do whatever, but I've seen people throw out, like, for example, I was speaking to my wife at the nail salon. There was this lady who came out the nail salon, and it was a car of kids. Now, I didn't know what was going on. I just pull up, she walk in, this lady comes out, and it's a car of kids. And so she has this really big bag of, I think it was Chick-fil-A or something like that. And instead of like just throwing it away in the trash can or whatever, it was by the door. It would have been a little bit of a walk for her, but not really. She had a car full of kids. Be the example, right? She just throws it out into the parking lot. And
you didn't say anything?
What's that?
You didn't say anything?
I didn't realize she did it until I saw it.
Okay.
I knew it came from her because I seen the kids and stuff. But it was like she threw it out. I seen her throw it out, and then she like drove off.
Oh, okay.
And the thing about it is like, what do you say in that situation versus like everybody else who sees this woman with a car full of kids teaching their kids that it's okay just to throw your trash out into the street. And so I had to go and I picked up the bag, threw the stuff away. I didn't,
that is so kind of you.
But it was such, to me, it was almost one of those things like I was like, damn, why did she have to be black? I want to tell you, like, I felt like I was like, why did she have to do that? I was like, damn. So I went and I picked up the trash. I mean, I'd have picked it up regardless of who it was, but it was just like, we talk about negative images being out there and stuff like that, and it was just a bad, it was a bad thing. I was like, like you could have easily threw that stuff away or waited till you got home and threw it away. You know what I'm saying? Like the world shouldn't be your dumping ground because you're inconvenienced for the short time it takes you to drive home.
Right. Well, you already know how the house look.
Well,
that's just my thought. Or her house might be spotless if she's throwing it outside.
But I did, and I kind of feel bad about saying about identifying a race about it. But it was just like the issue is I've seen people of all walks of life that have littered. I hate when people who you clearly see that don't live in that community are driving through, throwing their trash in the damn street. I have no tolerance for it. I have no tolerance for it at all. And then people should just stop. Because, I mean, it's just as simple as this waiting. Waiting!
You would have a whole fit in Philadelphia then.
Everywhere. But listen, I want to talk about this whole littering thing because, to my understanding, remember they used to have the signs out that said $500.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the issue is that, like, I mean, when you see the way people litter, like they'll be at a stop sign. They won't litter while they'll be at a stoplight. They won't litter while they're at the stoplight. They'll litter once the stoplight turns green. You know what I mean? Like they kind of checked all the corners and stuff like that. Like it's
so they knew it was wrong.
Yeah, it's very intentional. Like when you see it, it's very intentional. Like I sometimes if you see somebody they have I've never seen people litter and it'd be like, oh my God, it's just this huge mess in my car. Let me get rid of this stuff. Like I've seen people just literally throw out like stacks of napkins just into the air. And I'm like, why can't you have waited to do that?
Okay.
Like I hate a little grocery bag in my car to throw trash out, and when it gets full, I throw it out and get another one.
And that is it. That's it.
It's just as simple as just waiting. Just wait. Most people's trips are what, 5, 10, 15 minutes in a car? Just wait. And if it's that big of an issue, there's pretty much somewhere you can pull over to dump out trash in a proper receptacle.
True.
Or just keep a little plastic grocery bag in your
Right.
car, put your garbage in there,
Yeah,
and when
I
it
do.
gets full, you toss it in your garbage can or in a dumpster somewhere. But yeah,
That's
that
because
irks me too, kind of like
right.
really.
And see,
I mean, it's bad.
his thing
So I don't know
always
why I don't
have.
like littering, but like your mama and littering is almost the same to me. Like I hate it. Like I mean, I really like with a passion don't understand why like people do it.
Well, we know you serious about it because remember that girl littered in on that date, and that date was over.
Yeah, 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 yeah. And I
Did,
remember.
did you really end the date because she littered?
Well, let me explain it. I drove to where she was at. She decided she wanted to drive the rest of the way around and all that kind of stuff. So when we got in her car, she had like a McDonald's cup and some other stuff, and she just kind of just threw it out in her driveway, right? And when she did that, the whole night I was like, well, I didn't really think, I was thinking like, well, there's a dumpster not too far, like literally maybe 10 feet away from where the car was at, that kind of stuff. Maybe she was feeling a little bit, just wanting to get things going, maybe embarrassed that the trash was in the car. He gave her all those excuses or whatever. But then the next day, I happened to call her and I was like, hey, did you pick up that trash you threw out your car?
The next day, Nick.
Wow.
He needed to know. I need to know.
Yeah, and it was kind of like she didn't really know what I was talking about or whatever, and I was just like, yeah, you just littered in your own yard.
You ain't got a chance. Look, the public ain't got a chance. All right, today's footnote. Patience is not simply the ability to wait. It's how we behave while we are waiting. And trust and believe, we had some patience on today. All right, lovely people, that is my time. I thoroughly enjoyed you as I do each and every single Saturday. Find you, embrace you, most importantly, always, always love you. Until next week, people. Shop talk.